And I have to tell you, Anthony Weiner had some white powder sent to his house with a threatening letter. And, you know, Louise Slaughter had a brick thrown into her storefront. Stupak is getting threats. People are putting coffins on Democrats' lawns. This kind of hate speech that's going on right now has to stop.
I wouldn't bring it up, except that it happened, you know, 2 nights ago here. Yeah, okay. And 200 kids were bringing rocks and sticks to a speech of mine. And I've gotten white powder, and I've been attacked on my property. You don't hear conservatives whining about it all the time. A liberal gets one piece of hate mail, and suddenly Paul Krugman is blubbering on the op-ed page of the New York Times. That's why, by the way, I mean, the only thing responsible people can do, responsible people on air, responsible elected officials, is to try to give public figures some privacy. In a country of 300 million people, there are going to be some crazy people out there. And I know that it has become a passion of people on a different cable network to reveal the addresses of conservatives.
Well, we don't like, but that's the problem.
On our property.
But that is the problem with hate speech. It begets other hate speech, and you know we can have.
No, but I'm saying they're going to be crazy people. You have responsible liberals, allegedly responsible adult liberals out there trying to get conservatives attacked.
Oh, come on.
This guy, Francois.
Most of the hate speech is directed towards liberals, and you know it right now. You have a case maybe in the 60s. In the 60s, you have a case.
Madness.
That is, listen, and speaking of whining,
Joy,
Eric Cantor's been whining about how he got in trouble. Somebody had a bullet shot through his head or through his house, by the way.
Yeah,
he's whining too. So they whine on the right
Weiner.
also.
You or Anthony Weiner could show up at the Republican National Convention. You could show up at the University of Mississippi. You could show up at Bob Jones University, and you wouldn't need a bodyguard. There is not a conservative in America who can go to a college campus in America without a bodyguard.
Listen.
Do not tell me that this is a bigger problem for liberals. It's not even equal.
It's a totally bigger problem
madness.
for liberals.
We just don't whine.
The fact that they're sending hate mail and threatening Bart Stupak is a big problem. But, you know, let me tell you something.
I'll put my hate mail up against his any day.
Okay, just FYI, I guess last night Glenn Beck, your friend Glenn Beck, that other nut job, he unveiled the I Hate Glenn Beck Club. And guess who's a member?
You?
Me. I'm so excited. This is like being on Nixon's enemies list.
Congratulations.
I'm so happy. You can't even imagine. But he skipped Whoopi, Al Gore. He skipped Stephen King. You know, he skipped a lot of people, but I'm so privileged to be on that list.
You got to put that next to your You got to put that next to your Costco club card.
Okay. And thanks. Always a pleasure.
This was directly after the University of California, Berkeley denied her access to speak on campus, which is a violation of the First Amendment, which UC Berkeley is supposed to follow because they are a publicly funded university and not a private entity. Anyways, Ann Coulter obviously had to put the beat down on some crazy women on the panel, again, including Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg. Joy Behar of The View clearly lacks understanding of politics, but this time, she made quite the astonishing amount of stupid statements. Anyways, the whole interview with Ann is a total of 13 minutes. I'm going to come back at the end of the video and point out some of the poorly thought out statements by Joy Behar and show you guys why her and the panel lack logical reasoning in the first place. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe as well. So grab some popcorn and try not to smash your screen when people like Joy speak, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Coulter was a hot topic recently when she was silenced from speaking at UC Berkeley. So we're having her speak today at the table right now. So please welcome Ann Coulter. Just so I'm clear, so first they asked you to speak. You were asked to speak,
yes.
And then the school decided it wasn't a good idea for you to speak, and then canceled it, and then said you could speak at a different place. What happened?
Well, that chronology is not even worth beginning. They change their position every 5 minutes.
Okay.
But, I mean, basically every conservative speaker has all of these requirements put on the speech, and other ones just say, oh, come on, I'm not going to speak off campus and, you know, from a hot air balloon at 3 in the morning. And I just kept saying, cool, it would be cool. I think I'd get a lot of attention for that. So, which is why I kept saying, no, I agree. Whatever requirements they put on my speech. And then the next morning, I wake up and, they canceled anyway.
Right. But then they said you could come.
Well, sort
and then
of.
they
were just kicking the can down the road so that they could cancel later. They said I could speak again
when... safety, Ann.
That was what they said.
Well, that's what they said, but there is a police force. I don't know if you saw the press conference they had. It was one of the funniest press conferences I've ever seen, with the police, a policeman, a captain from the Berkeley police saying, we can't have Ann Coulter speak. The people will commit crimes. Call a cop. What's your job?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're... I've never seen a press conference like it. It would be like having your pilot say, how am I going to fly these people across the country?
I must say that we
Big
backed
piece
you
of
up,
metal.
Andy.
I know.
Because we believe in free speech here.
Yes.
Anything is fine.
Whether you like it or not.
Yes.
You know, and so we always want to encourage people, free speech. And I just got canceled in Clearwater because people didn't, they decided they didn't want to see the show, whether it had anything to do with politics or not. So the idea of not having free speech in a country that whose foundation is the ability to speak freely is ridiculous. So Berkeley, you made a mistake, man. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. That's the law.
You know, this isn't the first time that a conservative speaker recently has had an issue there. You had Milo Yiannopoulos, who was canceled there. They have numerous...
Well, they canceled him because there was a giant riot that broke out.
Right.
So they were scared
but
for
that's
him.
why they should have been on notice, i.e. the police should have been on notice.
Yeah, wasn't that...
We better prepare.
Wasn't that the issue, though? I mean, this is a university that receives taxpayer money, and many are saying, well, they have an obligation to provide security. And then people were coming out and saying, well, the police have a stand-down policy.
Right.
What does that even mean? Isn't the police there to protect us? That's the last I knew about them.
No, that's right. And, well, apparently the mayor had friended the Antifa. Those are the masked thugs who come out and smash Starbucks windows whenever a conservative is speaking. He had liked them on his Facebook page. They issued the stand-down order. And then you had this crazy press conference with a cop saying, what is this thing dangling from my belt? Is that a gun or a glue gun?
I want to point out, too, that we're not sure who those folks in the masks are. We don't know whether they're folks that have been stirred up by the right or the left. The fact of the matter that they're there is insanity.
Right, and that they're backing down.
You were one of the first people to back Trump for president, but he has the lowest approval ratings of any president in the past 72 years. How do you think he's doing?
Well, I wouldn't believe any of these approval ratings now. I mean, the day of the election, November 8th, I woke up and the New York Times said that Hillary had a 95% chance of winning. So I think polls apparently don't work in the age of Trump, or at least when the poll question is about Trump. And I still consider Trump the emperor god. However, I'm a little disappointed with the congressional Republicans.
She's kidding. She's a comedian.
Who are not. No, I totally do. I mean, these Republicans in Congress, they all opposed Trump. You would think that despite his personality, despite everything you guys say about him, half the people who voted for him, knew it. Well, I think we're trying to get the message through. We really, really want a wall. We'll even take Trump to build it.
Before we get to the wall, I want to ask you a question, because he stomps all over the media, as we were discussing before. See, I have a theory that the reason he wants his supporters to hate the media is because as soon as this Russian investigation is really fully vetted, we're going to find out that he possibly committed crimes. And he doesn't want his supporters to believe the media when he's going to be put in handcuffs. That's what I think. What do you think?
I mean, of all the things to attack Trump on,
criminal behavior,
you'd have
treason,
me.
hello, emoluments clause.
You'd have me changing the subject on many of them. The Russia thing is insane, and I do want to, but backing up, attacking the media, he isn't attacking the media, he's attacking the fake media. There are so many lies about him.
Like CNN? Come on.
I'll give you.
He attacks the New York Times, he attacks all media.
Right, all the fake news, but he's very accessible.
You say it's fake.
Fake news
You
that
say
he
it's
has helped
fake.
to put out there, Ann Coulter.
Yes.
You talking about that fake news
Well,
or just fake news in general? Because
no,
he has lied quite a bit, honey.
Well, he doesn't lie. He's more of a...
Ann Coulter. He does
He lied one time.
Oh, come on,
and I'm not
Ann.
going to tell you
Ann,
when.
come on.
Recently.
Look, come on,
Okay.
come on, Ann,
No, he
say
doesn't
it.
lie. He's a BSer. He's an exaggerator. When
No,
he
no, no.
says...
What do you think BS is,
What is
baby?
an exaggeration?
Okay, all right.
You know what, Ann, puffery. So when he says, wait, if I could just explain BSing versus lying.
Yeah.
It's like when he says, everyone's rated this golf course the greatest golf course in the entire world. Okay, the audience doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe it. He knows they don't believe it. But everyone feels nice. That's what he does. He has this nice...
So, do you believe
But he doesn't
Do you
lie.
believe when he called
Hillary
Obama?
lies.
When you say that when he said that Obama was not born in the United States, it's funny. It really
I love
is.
that you people keep bringing up Hillary. Hillary isn't thinking about y'all. Let's talk about the man who says he's the president. Forget Hillary. Forget Hillary.
Was he lying?
Yeah,
When he called Obama not born in this country, was he lying?
I am not counting anything until he announced for president.
But let's move on. One of the things you supported the
He
most.
was a little nutty before he ran for president.
He still is.
But he's a poster child for sanity now.
One thing that I'm interested in is that you supported, one thing you supported the most was this border wall,
Yeah.
this $26 billion border
Like
wall.
his voters.
But we just heard recently that illegal immigration is down 60% since he took
Right.
office, and the new budget won't have funding for the $29 billion border wall.
It's out of the budget.
Is this issue over?
No. This is why I hate congressional Republicans. And I mean, look at somebody like Paul Ryan, Republican Speaker of the House.
Right.
He does everything he can to stop Trump. This wild reality TV star ends up winning. I promise you, people weren't saying, I don't really like his issues. I'm voting for him for his personality. You know what was the issues? It was the wall. It was trade. It was caring about the working class
But
again.
Mexico's not
You
paying
would
for the wall.
think-
We're paying for the wall.
But let's just get back. Could I be concentrated
But
our
we're
hatred
paying
on
for the
Paul
wall.
Ryan for a
Okay,
moment?
go ahead.
So you would
Say it
think November 8th, the man you have campaigned against, who is the craziest presidential candidate in United States history, wins the election. November 9th, I think Paul Ryan should have said, I'm going to skip my 4-hour weightlifting routine this morning and get working on that wall. But no, what do the Republicans present to Trump? All of the old Republican issues that he did not
Was it a
run
lie,
on.
though, Ann, when Donald Trump said that Mexico was
No,
going to
they're
pay for
gonna
the
pay.
wall?
They're totally going to pay.
When are they going to pay?
Oh, it's the easiest thing in the world. I mean, of all the things that politicians promise, I'm going to get the economy going. Building a wall, this isn't developer.
But it's
He builds.
$26 billion.
It's
Who's
a
gonna pay- who's
boondoggle,
gonna
and
pay
Paul
for it?
Ryan knows it.
There are a million ways to do it. The remittances are one way. Just withholding foreign aid to Mexico.
Why
We
doesn't
could pay
he
for
say
it in
that,
5
then?
years.
Why doesn't he do what you're
he
doing?
didn't
Because
hear
see
it
what you're
until
doing?
Ann Coulter just said it. That's why.
Right. That's right.
Because the problem is that you're saying something and articulating a mechanism to make that happen. And I think one of the issues with him, one of the challenges I had, and you know on me, I'm center right. He says these things, and it sounds like these sound bites, and then you don't have any indication of how he's going to, what the follow-up's going to be, how he's going to fund it. You're doing more for his cause than he is right now.
Well, thank you. But I don't think, in fact, Trump's very first policy paper when he announced for president about a month later was his immigration policy paper, and he explained it. It was like point 10.
Ann,
Tax
hold on one second. Hold on one
remittances.
second. We're going to come back with more with Ann. We're back with Ann Coulter. I interrupted you. Please continue.
Oh, just one other point, and then because the journalists weren't reading his immigration policy paper where he explained, tax remittances, he actually put out one entire policy paper on nothing but how Mexico will pay for the wall.
But he didn't say it, and he's the president of the United
think
States.
he enjoys.
The thing is, like, Republicans do this all the time, and you know, they stink at messaging. So putting some piece of paper out there somewhere for someone to read is not the same as being put on the spot and being able to handle that question and explain to the American people how someone's going to pay for it that may or may not be them.
About that, because he put out one piece of paper recently, outlining a tax reform plan, right? In very
I wrote it
broad
on my hand.
strokes.
Here it is.
Very broad strokes. But it's clear when you try to read it, it could save corporations trillions of dollars, which would directly benefit the Trump family and Trump's businesses. Does that at all bother you? And does it bother you that we haven't seen his tax papers?
Yeah.
It totally doesn't bother me that we haven't seen his taxes. I think it's the same reason he doesn't explain the remittances thing. I think he enjoys driving the press crazy, and he knows it drives him crazy. I think he wouldn't even mind putting his taxes out.
You don't think he has anything to hide in there?
No.
So
But as for your point, Bud, because I agree with you on, I don't know why we're talking about tax cuts. He didn't campaign on tax cuts. That's every other Republican.
But does it bother
he
you,
campaigned.
Ann, you're a lawyer. Does it bother you
that he wrote it on a napkin?
Does it bother you that his family and himself could stand to benefit? I mean, isn't that unconstitutional? Isn't that the emollients clause?
It's
plain and simple.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
You learned that in law school, Ann.
no, but a general policy.
You learned it.
Come on. Okay, but it helped Ronald Reagan's family to end the evil empire. they wouldn't have to worry about getting nuked. So a general policy that is good for the country. No, there's no problem with that. I don't want to help corporations generally. I want to help the working class. So does Donald Trump. And the one part of his... Well, look, the one part I wish he would, and I think he wrote this on the napkin, and this was something I loved about his campaign, was making hedge fund managers pay the same as the rest of us. And he was the only politician, Republican or Democrat, to ever say end the carried interest loophole.
So let me ask you this. Does it not bother you? Now, I understand he likes to drive the press crazy and stuff. What about the people? Does it bother you that the people don't really understand? Even people who didn't vote for him, they want to understand what he's doing. He is their president. So shouldn't he be a little clearer for the people who are actually waiting to hear? Because I know a lot of folks heard him say, we are not paying for the wall. I heard him say, we're not going to do this, or we're not going to do this, or we are doing this and we are doing that, and then it all shifts.
Or that
so
the coal industry is coming back, he keeps saying, and we know that's not true.
For the American people. Don't you think he could be a little clearer for the American people?
Especially for those who want to support him,
yeah.
want to have his back.
If anything, I think they're supporting him quite a bit. I keep taunting him on, number of miles built on the wall every day, 0. Miles built since the inauguration, 0. And I must tell you, if anything, the people love him too.
Security number with which to claim the tax credit as long as their child has one. The House version is stricter and does important things, but nonetheless, it is still a tax credit, requiring the taxpayer, though, to provide their own Social Security number in order to be able to claim the refundable portion of the credit. Joining me tonight, political commentator, best-selling author, syndicated columnist, and legendary icon. Good to have you with us. It is, and it's absolutely true. You have been fighting the left in this country for quite a long time now, and with immeasurable success. Obviously, President Trump helped a bit in 2016.
Yes, he did.
Could you have possibly imagined that the president would have achieved what he has in terms of the economy, markets, and rolling back regulation, setting a whole new tone for this country?
What I didn't realize was how real the swamp is. He is really being opposed by all of official Washington, D.C., which is why it's unfortunate that so many of his appointees are part of the swamp, because they're fighting him. And the media, I hated before. Wow, do I hate them now, until they are utterly discredited.
By the way, look into the camera, because watching you right now are tons of Americans who see it exactly that way. The left-wing media is driving the support of this president, I think, in large measure.
I totally agree.
He is standing up despite, as you say, being assailed every day from every quarter.
Viciously with lies.
I'm sorry?
Viciously with lies. He's absolutely right on the fake news. The funny thing, I'm obviously a little testy with him because we don't have our wall yet. But then the media attacks him and they bring me back to defending him.
Right.
I'm like a sitting duck. You could get me to attack him. I'm mad that we don't have a wall. But no, every day it's some outrageously unfair attack and they bring me back in.
Well, you have to be, and by the way, I want the wall. I want the wall now. I wanted it actually 6 months ago. Though that may not be realistic, but having the wall next year is definitely realistic. And secondly, you have to credit the Trump administration for having the lowest, I was about to say immigration rate, crossover rate of that border in recent memory.
Right. What concerns me about that is, this is why I supported him. I think he's still living off the rhetoric of the campaign. And that was an important campaign.
That's not fair. We're talking about substantial, concrete, highly specific achievements. And I just enumerated just some of them.
The fact that fewer illegal immigrants are trying to cross in that is a result of his rhetoric. It is not because we have a wall. He is allowing ICE to do their job. But all of the things that we like that's happening, it goes away like that with the next president. only a wall is forever. That's that's what people were chanting.
Did I just hear you hold him not only accountable for his campaign promises to the American people, but for the next 3 or 4 presidents, say, as well?
Oh, for the next millennium.
Yeah, well, I think he's making a pretty good run at it because he has reversed the course under, you may remember Barack Obama. We were looking into the abyss of that man's leadership.
No, I think that's part of the reason for the hysteria from the left, from the media, from the deep state, from the swamp. Yeah. They were just about to tip the country. They almost had it.
That's why do you
4
think
more
that
years of illegal immigrants and legal immigrants, and the entire country would be the state of California. They could taste it. They were so close. Republicans would be gone, gone, gone. So we really need Trump. I mean, if he wants to...
I'm glad to hear you moving at least in this direction, because...
What direction?
The direction of recognizing that there is no possibility whatsoever that we could have survived another, well, a Hillary Clinton.
But the same is true if Trump doesn't keep his promises.
And that we would not have been able to defeat Hillary Clinton
with anyone but Trump.
That's
no, that's absolutely true. No, I have no regret for...
By the way, did you notice
but he's got to fulfill his
promises? Growing about.
You know... Okay, I want to talk to you about that. You better stop bragging about that because the stock market is going to crash and it's not going to be his fault.
The stock market is going to what?